Welcome to the Own Your Best Life podcast. I'm May Emson, your host, leadership and mindset coach. Here, we talk all things spiritual, mindset, business, leadership, and wellness for the modern seeker who wants to align their life with purpose and inspiration. We'll cover career changes, stress management, meditation, energy, intuition, and more. Each episode holds spiritual and practical tools to help you live a life of your wildest dreams without getting burnt out along the way. Ready to live a life on your own terms? This is the Own Your Best Life podcast. Welcome to episode 189 of the Own Your Best Life podcast. So in the quiet of the morning hours or in the late night in between hours, you start asking yourself, what would it look like to move on from where I am now? You might have even found a new role, a new job, but one thing holds you back from really feeling like it's a good idea to move on, to celebrate the transition. And it is the idea of leaving on good terms. You want to move on, but you don't want to burn any bridges from this current role or with this employer. And today's podcast on how to quit your job without burning bridges will help you understand why it's important to leave on good terms and how to do it. So there are usually a few different reasons we leave our work and we move on to something else. One of the typical reasons is that we've been laid off or we've been let go from our current job. There may have been a restructuring, your role was made redundant, you could have been given advance notice of all of this. You could have also been in a new role post the restructuring and it just wasn't what you wanted to do. The other reason we move on is because the current role or situation just doesn't work for us anymore. Maybe it's a lifestyle change that you've seen coming for a while, or one that's fairly urgent, like a medical issue or something that you have to deal with in terms of caregiving duties. And you just can't do the work the way it needs to be done anymore. Maybe you realize that the current situation you are in is creating mental or physical health issues, and you know it's time to make a change so that you can get healthy again. Or you realize that the current organization you're in, the work you're doing, just isn't a good fit anymore. Either their style or their culture doesn't align with your ways of working, or maybe they don't align with your values. And then the third top reason is that we have another opportunity that's really attractive. And whether that opportunity is for growth or compensation or more impact, we decide that it would be in our best interest and everyone around us best interest to pursue this new thing. And sometimes this is in sync with us knowing that the current role doesn't work well for us anymore. But it can also be that you're just really happy in your current role, but this new opportunity is even better. And what's really interesting is that in all of these cases, you're leaving and you have the same situation, but the context can influence the way you leave and how you think about your current employer or your job situation before you leave. And I'm going to make a case for why it shouldn't matter. In the second scenario that I've described, if there's been trouble brewing or feelings of resentment or frustration, it can be harder to leave on good terms. And in the third scenario, where you're really happy and content with the work you're doing, it might feel easier to leave on good terms. In the first scenario, where you're affected by a restructuring, it can either be a feeling of maybe goodwill towards the company that you're leaving because they've dealt with the restructuring and the changes in a very positive way and have been very supportive of you, or you might feel resentment towards them because the opposite has been true. But either way, in all three scenarios, you can leave on good terms without burning bridges. It doesn't serve you or anyone else to destroy or worsen relationships in the process of leaving and transitioning to a new role. If anything, this is an incredible opportunity for you to really thrive, to shine. You can improve your relationships as you leave. You can strengthen your connection to your coworkers, your former colleagues, clients, your bosses. And there is a concept that I want to share in behavioral economics that I remember learning called peak end theory. People will tend to remember the peak of the experience and then also how it ended. You may not have control over the peak of your experience with someone if it's already been in the past, but you can control how things end. People, including yourself, will remember the level of maturity, the professionalism that you exhibit as you move on. And often we get so excited about what's next that we think about how we don't have to do any of the things that we don't love about our current situation. You might be counting down the days and celebrating how you don't have to talk to a certain person or deal with a certain way of doing things that you really don't like. But the fact is that in any job, any role, there will always be those things we don't fully love, people who might be more challenging than others. And when you take the remaining time you have and you focus on what you really don't love, why you're so happy to leave those things behind, you are creating a scenario where your energy that you're carrying towards the things in your life isn't that positive, and it isn't very helpful. And you're fixated on how terrible things are, and your thoughts end up being pretty negative. And so these subtle energetic cues can be felt. And not only that, they're a habit that we create then of thinking, oh, every time something is hard, I can just leave and it will all get better. And then you find yourself in the same situation again and again. So if all of that energy can be felt, especially by other people, what is really more powerful is if you're able to hold the energy of respect and maturity and professionalism towards the thing that you're leaving. No matter how terrible things are, it created something for you, whether it was the impetus to leave and therefore show you that you have what it takes to create new work and new roles, or whether it was the chance to learn new and different skills or to meet new people. There's something that you can appreciate about your work and the current thing that you're doing even today. And if you can focus on the appreciation, even as you create new opportunities for yourself, you'll find that transition to different roles and opportunities just becomes this natural progression of what you do. It becomes easier to separate roles from relationships. It becomes easier to feel like you're not letting people down if you walk away from what you currently do. And it becomes easier to see that work is really just work, and that who you are as you do the work matters more. Who you are is the person who doesn't burn bridges and who can be professional and thoughtful as you move on. And for any of you who already know that you have a hard time leaving relationships in general, like think about your personal life, this is a good time for you to reconcile that how you do one thing may be how you do everything. If you find that you generally leave and just cut off ties completely in your personal lives, this might be the approach you take in your work life. And if you find that you generally have good terms with people and you're connected with people in your life, even if relationships have changed, you're going to find the same thing going on with work. And no matter how your work has treated you, your standards for how you treat others can be more powerful and telling of your character. It is not a tit for tat scenario where they've treated you a certain way and therefore you don't exhibit a certain level of professionalism. And if you want to quit your job without burning bridges, you treat people and situations with respect and professionalism. Think about what the other person who's on the receiving end of the news will be thinking and trying to anticipate how they would respond to your questions and to their concerns is going to be how you make this transition seamless. Actually be prepared for these conversations and be clear about what your transition means to them without making a personal thing of all of this. It is then a win-win. I think most of all, quitting your job without burning bridges means that you're able to separate personal and the professional. And I think with all of us, when we care so much about what we do, our identities are tied so into the work that we do that it finds ourselves in a hard place to leave without trying to hate the thing that we're leaving. Versus, it was a great thing and I'm moving into something really even more great for me. And I think if you're able to hold the energy of a professional and thoughtful person as you leave, you're able then to do what is natural, which is change. Change careers, change jobs, change roles, change clients without it becoming a big deal, without it being something that hurts relationships, And then you have so much more of the freedom that you desire, able to take on new and different roles if you so desire, able to navigate new and different situations if you so desire. And so this is how you quit your job without burning bridges. Be prepared for your mind to want to go to a place where you try to hate everything about what was previously there, and acknowledge that that is a human reaction, but then come back to the place of who you want to be as you make this transition. All right, my friends, if you want to make changes and if you want to find that clarity of what you want next, join Spiritual Achiever Coaching. We're going to help you reduce stress, save time and energy, and figure out what it is that you want. Give yourself the career clarity and make your dream job your real job. And if you want to join in, learn more about what it takes to be a part of this program and have your entire life transform, bigger, deeper, and richer, you go to mayemson.com/spiritual achiever. We also have the next retreat coming up. It's going to be in Puerto Escondido, Mexico. It is a private villa in a top 10 surfing destination, and we are going to have so much fun as we do a little bit of play and then do a lot of deep thinking, making big decisions about what's next for us, and recalibrating our mind, body, souls to a whole new kind of life. So if you want to reinvent and write your next chapter, you don't want to miss this. Even if you're not in the group, you're welcome to join. Spots will sell out though, so go to mayemson.com/retreat and sign up there today. All right, my friends, have an amazing week, and I'll talk to you next time. Thanks so much for joining us this week on Own Your Best Life. Make sure to subscribe to the show on iTunes or wherever you listen to podcasts so that you'll never miss a show. And while you're at it, can you please rate and review on iTunes? I would so appreciate it. Share it with a friend, take a screenshot of it, and tag @MayEmson. This helps continue to get the word out. For more show notes and resources, check out www.mayemson.com. You'll have all the links to everything you heard here today. Thanks so much for listening. It's time to own your best life.